Hello again and thanks for joining. So today we've got two wagons to have a look at, but when I say two wagons, they're actually the same wagon. You've probably noticed that already. The brown one in the plastic box, that's number 56066 from Roco, but the grey one above in the Playtime box is number 47526. I believe that the brown one is actually the older of the two, even though the Playtime box looks a bit rough and ready around the edges. So I think what Roco have done here is produced a wagon in the past and then given it a modern reissue and then badged it as Playtime, which is their kind of budget range. But is there any difference between these two wagons? Let's open these up and we'll check them out. So here they are out of the box, and aside from the colour and the decoration on them, they do actually look like exactly the same model. Anyway, let's have a look at these closer up. We'll start off with the brown one. So both of these models, obviously Roco, and they're made in Austria. However, they're actually modelled on an Italian wagon. You can see here it has FS printed, which is the Italian Railways. The printing on this is really good. It's even got this really cool star on the door there, and some more printing down on the chassis, which is very fine and actually quite difficult to read with the naked eye, but it's good that it's there. This is quite an interesting moulding. This wagon has got a lot going for it with all these different panels. At this end of the wagon you can see some more vents and some printing on this panel here as well. Not much on the buffer beam on the chassis though, it's just got the buffers there, which are not too bad at all, but no details at all on the beam. And the two parts don't marry together quite right, there's a little bit of a gap there. Not too bad though. One of the things that is noticeable is how loose this roof is. It just lifts off, no problem at all. I don't know why it's like that, I don't think it's been stuck on at all. It's not meant to, of course, because there's nothing inside, but it does show that it's a separate piece which has been painted in this silvery grey colour. It's got some nice ridges on it as well, and no moulding marks either, so that's quite good. The side of this wagon has got all these vents here. It makes it really characterful, and it's complemented with some rivet detail as well, and the door is very well defined. It's even got some steps coming down here too. And also on the chassis it's got rivet detail as well, and the moulding includes this really well defined set of springs and axle boxes and brake gear, although the brakes aren't in line with the wheels. There's a bit of bracing here as well, which has got some rivet detail on it. And underneath, the planking has got some really nice wood grain on it, and it's got all the bracing with rivet detail and brake gear and tanks there as well. The couplings are in NEM pockets and the cantilever on this mechanism here. You can see how the body is clipped to the chassis with these little tabs coming down there. The wheels are made of metal, very free rolling as well, and they've got this burnished look to them. So it's a very good wagon. It could do with a spot of glue on the roof, but apart from that it's pretty good. So let's have a look at the other one. So this one is obviously much brighter, and because of this shade of grey it actually looks a bit more plasticky than the brown. This one has got different printing, but it is again very clear, and it's got some nice details down here on the door as well as this part over here. It's very finely done. It's exactly the same moulding it looks like, but obviously in a different colour, and the roof is a brighter colour of silver. This one doesn't come off like the other one, so they must have glued it down okay, and underneath it looks to be exactly the same. The wheels look a little bit brighter than on the previous one, but they do roll freely as well, and they have the same NEM pockets and cantilever couplings. The only thing that seems to be missing from the grey one is that it doesn't have any printing on the chassis that this one does, but aside from that it's identical with no differences whatsoever. So let's put one of these on the scales and find out how much it weighs. So this wagon weighs 59 grams, and I've had to put it on its side because it's so free rolling, it just kept rolling off the scales. So these are basically the same wagon, just in different ranges. The brown one comes in the much superior plastic box, and that'll keep it very safe from any knocks and bashes, whereas the grey one comes in the standard Playtime cardboard box with a polystyrene tray. It looks at some point in the past this model sold for £5, which I think is an incredibly good price for this model. It's got a lot of detail in that moulding, and it looks really good, and it's got fantastic wheels which roll very well, and it's got NEM pockets as well. If you were thinking about getting this wagon, I'd have no hesitation recommending the Playtime version for you. It's probably going to be cheaper than the other one, even though it's newer, but yeah, you're getting exactly the same wagon, minus just some little tiny bits of printing on the chassis, but that doesn't really bother me at all. It's a fantastic wagon, and at a low price this would be a great addition to your layout. So watch out for those Playtime wagons. They could just be re-releases of old ones, and as such they've got a wealth of detail and at a lower budget price. But that's just what I think. What do you think about these wagons? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps this channel. I'll put these on the turntable so you can see all the way around. And in a moment another video will appear on screen. Just click on that and I'll see you there. But that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. See ya.